Hello everyone, welcome back to Tekpon. Today I'm here with Sagar from Foresight. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Christian?
I'm great. Excited to see your solution. So please tell us, what is Foresight?
Sure. Foresight is a B2B SaaS platform that helps revenue leaders across SaaS companies close more deals faster. And what we do is we arm sales folks. So if you're an SDR, account executive, CRO, we give you insights prior to your meeting about what your buyer cares about, what their top pain points are. So you can have a much more productive meeting. And then we
Okay.
give you the personalized collateral to shorten sales cycles on the back end. We do the same thing for account management and client success to reduce churn and drive upsells and expansions.
But how do you exactly do that? You integrate with the meeting of an SDR or
Yeah,
how?
so we what we do is we have a assessment platform. We send personalized assessments to your prospect prior to the meeting. And it's a 2 to 3 minute exercise. If your prospect's already committed to a 30-minute or 1 hour conversation with you, asking them to put in 2 or 3 minutes before the meeting is a good test to see do they have real intent or are they
Yes.
just wasting your time? And what
Mm-hmm.
we're finding is 65% of those prospects are actually responding to the assessment, spending on average of 7 to 8 minutes on it, and giving you a
Mm-hmm.
ton of rich information about what their biggest pain points are, what they're trying to solve. So then in the meeting, you already hit the ground running. We give you a head start. We actually call it the head start report, automatically emailed to you in your inbox an hour before the meeting. So you can read through and say, hey, Christian needs these three things. I'm just going to start with that rather than spending 10 minutes giving a generic overview of our solution. I'm personalizing everything to you and your business.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And is it like a form? Do I have to complete a form and that's the information that I get?
Yeah, so it is a assessment link that is emailed to you. So if you're the prospect, I'm your salesperson. You'll get that link. If the meeting is booked for today, you'd get that 3 or 4 days prior to,
Mm-hmm.
and you click into the link, go through it. We're saving everything automatically. So if you fill out one drop down, it's automatically going to save. If you spend 5 minutes and fill out 15 different things, we'll get all that information. But the salesperson
Nice.
then is automatically receiving all those inputs on their version of the report.
Nice, very nice, very nice. And how did you come up with the idea? Did you have the problem yourself?
Oh yeah, had the problem ourselves. So myself and my co-founder, we met at a company called Deal Cloud, which is a private equity CRM platform. So we competed with Salesforce. We joined the company when we were early employees 6 years ago, and the company grew really quickly. We got acquired. The company that acquired us went public, and so we saw it grow from handful of people to 800 people, right, and a
Wow.
billion-dollar company. And my role through that was I was a customer success implementation analyst. Then I moved into sales engineering. My co-founder was the first SDR. He moved into account management. So all the client-facing roles you can think of, we held. The biggest problem, Christian, was that we lacked institutional knowledge on what our market needed.
Okay.
Everybody's different, everybody's personalized needs, but that was all stuck in our minds or stuck in CRM free text notes. It wasn't in a database, it wasn't, at our fingertips. And so we
Mhm.
realized this is a problem that every software company has because there's so many use cases out there. How do we make it super simple to have a much more relevant conversation before you even jump on the call with your prospect? That's what Foresight is. And we're really building this for ourselves. And we wish we had this 6 years ago. We would have grown a lot faster.
Yeah, lovely story. And when did you start it? Your
It
company?
started last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
April,
nice.
April 2021. Yep.
You both quit your jobs and then started building.
That's right. Yeah, I quit our jobs, had a couple months of doing some consulting to test out the idea. So we actually started off doing some consulting work and services work, realized that there's real potential to build a SaaS solution, a product, and then we started going on that journey.
So the product is SaaS itself. Because
Yes,
I looked to
yes.
the website, but I didn't really understand it until you explained it to me. But now I can fully understand it. Um, what other features do you have that customers love, that your clients love?
Yeah. What our clients love is there's really no data entry or work they need to do. They don't even need to
Mm-hmm.
log into the platform if they don't want to. All they're getting is an email report right before the meeting if you're in sales that says, here's what your prospect needs, all the stuff we talked about, called the Head Start report. So they love the fact that they're getting distilled real-time insights on their market without having to do anything, right? They're booking meetings, they're doing outreach, they're doing their day-to-day process, but now we're feeding in one more tool in their toolkit, which they can use to have a much better meeting. And the other thing is, we just had a great conversation last week with a company who we were working with their VP of sales, and they said, we need to show this to our COO and CEO. They're a 200-person company based in San Francisco, tech company.
Okay.
And they said that the knowledge that we're generating from every single sales process is so impactful for our leadership because we've never had that visibility into our organization because it's all been based off anecdotes, not data.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what we're building now and we're launching it in next week is an executive visibility report. So just like you're getting a head start report for a salesperson, all of those get aggregated together and then surfaced to executives so they can see across, if I'm selling into financial services or healthcare, or if I'm selling into manager level or analyst level, what are the specific needs? What are the gaps? Who are we competing against? What are people actually saying? And we're feeding that to executives every Friday as a weekly digest, and they're not having to do anything for this because
Nice.
we're installing Foresight in every single sales process.
Wow.
Yeah, and to your point about the website, yeah, we're an early stage company. We're launching a new website in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
When you check
Absolutely.
back next month, it'll be a lot more.
Okay, okay. Can you share with us the pricing? I saw that it's not public.
Yeah. So that's also going to be on the new website.
Okay,
So
okay.
we price based off of size of company, and
Mm-hmm.
we do all annual enterprise-wide pricing. We don't do per user per month. And the typical pricing, so if you're a 50 to 100 person organization, the typical annual pricing turns out to be about 25K for the annual license. And
Mm-hmm.
as that company scales and grows, the contract size will scale and grow. So that's typically our benchmark. But what we're finding is that we're depending on where you are in the maturity cycle. If you're a smaller company and you need this data, we'll work with you. We're doing pilots. We're figuring out creative ways to get to prove out our value and to show that you're going to get a lot of value out of this. So yeah, enterprise wide, we charge based off your size of company. We have certain limits that you start from, and if budget's a concern, we can work with you on that and do a pilot.
Okay. And were you the first to do this on this niche?
Yeah, so we have there's definitely a few competitors in the space, and there's a lot of companies that are doing buyer intent platforms and understanding what signals that a prospect might have. But what our differentiation is on this is we're capturing that information from the prospect themselves rather than what they're posting on social media or third
Okay.
party research, right? So that's our differentiator, and that's what we're totally focused on. What we're doing uniquely is get the actual data from your buyer's mind, from your prospect's mouth, not what
Yeah.
other people are hypothesizing about them. And
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to give it to you because there's all about intent. If they sign up for a meeting, they obviously want to get value out of the meeting. They'll put a bit of homework in to give you that insight so they can have a more productive meeting.
Yeah.
58% of sales meetings are a waste of time for the buyer. We don't want any one of our meetings that we influence to be a waste of time for the buyer. And how do you do that? You capture a bit
Absolutely.
of information before, you arm the salesperson with the right insights so they can have a better conversation. And when that all comes together, it's like an orchestra. People love it.
Yeah. Now it makes even more sense to me. So yeah, great solution. Great solution. Um, I guess that the forms, the email that you send to the prospect is also customizable, right?
Totally. Yes, everything's templatized in our platform. Typically, what people are doing is we'll use our templates and then they'll personalize it because personalization and relevance is obviously key throughout the sales process. So take the template, which
Absolutely.
is generating high response rates, put in your personalized message for Christian, whoever your prospect is, and then send it off.
Mm-hmm. And so far you're bootstrapped, I guess.
We actually raised some money. Yeah. So we were
Oh,
bootstrapped for the
okay.
first 6 months. Yeah. And then we
Mm-hmm.
raised angel round of funding last August. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And what's your vision for the future? You said that you're planning to launch a better version of the website in 1 month. And what other plans do you have?
Yeah, absolutely. What gets us most excited and where we're going is to make any revenue or client facing function leverage Foresight to accelerate scale and growth. And so I'll give you a personal example. When we were at the company Deal Cloud 5 or 6 years ago, we were a 10, 15-person company at the time. And we would hire 5, 10 salespeople a month sometimes because we were growing so quickly. But it was
Okay.
impossible to scale that knowledge and grow. So what we see Foresight becoming long term is a revenue acceleration utility that gets spread across the organization. Anytime somebody else joins, they have the same knowledge and ability as a 10-year employee at the company because they're
Yeah.
accessing the institutional knowledge of thousands of sales processes from the buyer's mouth themselves,
Oh,
right?
so
And
it's
this
all
is
in there.
it's all in there. Yeah, it's all in there. And
Nice.
and these are it's cool because that's for the company itself. Or the other vision is how do we do the same thing on the buyer side? Because all this data that's being captured, we're servicing it back to the buyers. Another part of our solution is something called the impact report. So based off what we learn through the assessments, the salesperson clicks a button, generates a personalized business impact report for a Christian that says your name on it. Here's what you told us. Here's how you compare to your peers. Here's how we help people like you. It's all automated. And
Nice.
so what our
Nice.
what buyers are doing now is they're taking that report and they're using it to sell internally because sales
Oh,
cycles are really long these days in the economic environment, especially, right? So if a buyer has some asset that they can use to make their job easier, because they don't buy software professionally, they're working with sales teams, they're working with healthcare facilities, whatever it is, whatever industry you're working in.
yeah.
So we want to make it super easy to buy software and feel confident that you're making the right decision. So first, we're helping revenue teams at software companies. All that data is then going to help buyers at all the different end markets make that purchasing decision happen better with higher quality and more confidence. And that's the long-term vision is software buying should be effortless and seamless. It shouldn't be hard, but it starts with single building blocks, and we're building those blocks right now.
Very nice. Very nice. And what I wanted to ask you, what's your personal story? How did you start your career? So you said you moved to sales, but what before that?
Yeah,
What was
it
before that?
was a very long and winding and at times arduous journey. But I went to college to be a chemist, actually. I was a science major
Okay.
and wanted to potentially become a doctor. I wasn't really sure, but I love science, love mathematics. And for the first 2 years of my university, I was focused on. But I had this crisis of conscience and I went abroad, I spent some time in different countries, and I was realizing, I just love the people who excite me the most are those who are working on new ideas, who are trying to solve real problems in the world. And so that came in the world in the form of entrepreneurship for me. So I started exploring that. Um, and so I realized I want to do this in my life, but I need the skill sets, I need the confidence, and I need the network. Those are the three most important things to start a company. So
Yes.
my mission for the next 5 years became how do I get those three things? So I worked at three different companies to get that. I first worked at a big sales and marketing agency. I was an operations analyst, crunching numbers, Excel, learning about business. I did that for a year and a half. It was a 5,000 person company. It was too big for me. It wasn't a great culture fit. I needed to go somewhere smaller.
Okay.
I then found DealCloud. I sent a cold email out. I got a job within a week because they're growing so quickly, and that changed my life. We grew from 10 people to 200 people in a year and a half. We got
Wow.
acquired.
Wow.
Through that journey, I moved into sales. When we got acquired, I worked with the parent company leadership to scale out the solutions there. So then I got a view into okay, big sales teams, big organizations, big leadership. How are they solving problems? But the single problem remained the same. So fast forward 6 years later, I felt like I had the skills because I had experienced the different functions of a SaaS company, the confidence. I was working with leadership and folks in different industries, and then the network because after that many years talking to so many people, I had a good Rolodex of people I could lean on.
And it's also about patience, having
Oh
patience,
yes,
5 years to gain all
100%.
those. Yeah,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
that's to be appreciated. And um, what what piece of advice would you have for someone who wants to start in sales to become a business development representative, an SDR, account executive, anything in sales? What's
Uh,
what's needed in sales?
yeah, that's a good question. What's most needed, in my opinion, in sales is connecting with your audience and empathy. What it really comes down to is listening. And there's two steps. It's listening, but also hearing, right? You can be listening all day, but are you actually hearing and can you solve someone's problem? So the number one thing that gets people to open up to you is connecting with who they are as a human being and what problems they have. Try to get into their psychology, understand why are they stressed out? Why are they a problem? If you can be uh almost a business therapist for your prospect, to listen to their problems, talk to them about it, build trust, then you have a world of opportunity and possibility. And the beautiful thing about that is that doesn't take 5 years of schooling to do. It just takes a curiosity. It takes conversation and caring about human beings at the end of the day. And if you can do that, then you will become successful. And honestly, that's part of what we're trying to do as well with Foresight, right? Is to help you make those connections happen faster and arm you with insights to have those conversations. But yeah, I think that's what it takes is a human connection, curiosity, listening and hearing, and working at a company that can solve some of those problems too, right? That has a good product. That's also important.
Great point. You know that salespeople are often seen as a great spokesperson, not necessarily great listeners. But I see that more and more people are putting the focus on listening nowadays rather than
100%.
speaking, because you can
Oh
speak a
yeah,
lot, but if you don't solve the problem for your prospect, yeah, you're not helping. And
doesn't matter. Yeah.
I think you know this. The prospect most of the times wants to be listened first, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you have any other topics that you'd like to discuss today? Anything else
Um,
that you want to tell to the
no,
audience?
this was great, Christian. I would say that if you're interested in learning more about Foresight, please reach out. I'm sure we'll share contact information. But we're an early stage company. We're really enthusiastic and excited, ambitious about the problems we're solving. So if any of this resonate with you, we'd love to talk more. But overall, I want to say thank you so much, Christian, for this opportunity, and Tekpon. You all are doing great work. Um, I've looked at other podcasts and content, and it's uh, being the connector and being able to give companies and founders and entrepreneurs a voice, tell their story is hugely impactful. So I'm deeply grateful for that. I have no doubt you'll be successful, and thank you so much.
Appreciate so much. People tell me often that I'm a good listener, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy listening to people that I don't know, have something to share, and I'm here
Yeah.
all ears just
Yeah.
yeah, give amazing value. And as you mentioned, we don't need to judge a startup because yeah, we're at the beginning. Your website
Right.
may not look good today, but in a few months it will be astonishing. I'm sure of that.
Absolutely, man. I
Okay,
appreciate
people should definitely check it out.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all the links below. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'm really grateful.
Likewise. Good to meet you.